if you think that revenge is going to step in and karma is going to step in and the girl who cheated on you is going to somehow like have a terrible life, I got something. The only thing that's bigger than the OnlyFans like virtual prostitute economy, the only thing that's running bigger than that is the simp economy. The simp economy is outrunning it, because if you have the number of men in the future who are going to be virgins at the age of 30 is going to fucking skyrocket. Wow. There is going to be a plentitude of to save these women when they're 35. Don't get it twisted. I don't care how mad that makes you. There is going to be a plethora of beta male. I shouldn't use that term. Sorry, Charleston White. A plethora of beta males to save these women, and it's just going to increase over time, because you hear old people like, well, get off your phones and get away from the social media and get back into the real world. The real world includes social media, granddad. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, and like dudes who are on social media and actually good on social media are having, like, again, 0 sexual partners, the bottom 26%. The average guy in North America, I think, is like 5 or 6 sexual partners. And once you get a bunch above the top 5%, it's 150 sexual partners. So the scale looks like this. I got news for you. These guys right here are all stunning on Instagram. I guarantee you all they are.
Do not care about you.
They don't care about you. They don't care about this argument. They're taking your girl. They're in Miami. They don't give a shit. Bro, she's not it's Future. Future is literally sitting there telling you, guys, it's sensational. Like, he's telling you she belonged to the streets. He's telling you, he's there these women. He's telling you what's going on. Are you listening?
He was just on a call with like his private group, and we were talking about like this economy versus like the OnlyFans girls economy. Because remember, we talk about sexual marketplace, we talk about it in terms of economics, right? And then you're talking about, the simp economy is actually bigger than the only. Well, I hope I'm quoting this right, but I think it was Warren Buffett who said something like, the market can stay chaotic longer than you can stay solvent. It's exactly the same dynamic.
It's so crazy.
Like the can stay chaotic forever. You're never going to remain solvent. You're never going to outlast it.
Here's the problem this is the reason why we do our show that's different. Here are 2 different concepts. This is a concept of getting 6-pack abs, making an outrageous amount of money, and dating the most beautiful woman you've ever seen in your life. Being happy inside and out, and living a fulfilling life, and then having children and offspring and generational wealth to leave to them, and having buildings named after you. That's this side. This is success. This side right here is calling women 304s, delusional hoes. I can't believe you cheated on your man. You're a dumb whatever. Now, here's the thing. This side right here, I'm guilty of watching this shit. As just as guilty as anybody.
We're going to see it tomorrow.
And to be fair, this stuff right here, for a guy who has no experience, this is really useful. But I'm only interested in this. I'm only interested in this. I'm only interested in your approval, not the destruction of your ex who cheated on you. I'm only interested in men uplifting themselves. And because of that, because I have to give you these ugly truths to tell you these things, honey, like, honestly, probably the reason why he broke up with you is because you put on a little bit of weight. Women don't want to hear this, and their friends are the last people to tell them. Again, you get cheated on, and what does your mom tell you? You're a special snowflake, and she didn't realize what she had, and she's too good for you. Really? Because she's in a yacht in Biscayne. She's not thinking about me at all. Like, I don't really, like, these hard truths. She chose another dude. Yes, she was a for sure. But like, the thing is, there's still things that you can improve. Every time a girl cheats on you, she's doing you a favor. Every time a guy leaves your company, he's doing you a favor. Like, you just have to look at it from that standpoint. And like, again, I love sports references. Victor Wembanyama, first pick in the draft. He's like 7'4". The kid's got pull-up J, 3-point shot, blocking every shot. The kid's incredible. When he looks at all the other players in the NBA, does he sit there and is he jealous of them? Or does he say, man, I am going to beat the... Remember when Shaq came in? I was watching an NBA Jam right here in 93. Shaq came in 93. We played for Orlando. They went from like 19 wins to 41 wins in like 1 year. And he was punching on he had a game one time with Scott Skiles where he had 10 blocks in a game. Just incredible. Do you think he looked at all these other players and he was like, I'm so jealous? Or did he think, I'm going to get better and I'm going to destroy these people?
Which he did.
Every time you see someone on social media doing better, think, this is so exciting. I have the ability to get better and do these things. Don't look at these things with jealousy. When you do that, find a cohort of men who are doing better than you and learn from them. You guys, I'll tell you, somebody you absolutely should have on your show is Wes Watson. You guys know who Wes Watson is? 10 years, did 10 years for attempted murder, got out. The guy's making $3 million a month doing like coaching, like fitness coaching. He has no sales team. The guy's incredible. One of the best motivational speakers I've ever seen. He has the most outrageous videos. He really teaches you like how. Wes Watson. Wes Watson. He just moved to Miami. Anyway, I go to dinner sometimes. I'll be like, let's say Wes Watson's there. My buddy Dan Fleischman is there. It doesn't matter who these guys are, but what I'm saying is they're hyper successful. When the bill comes, what do you think happens? They're racing to pay the bill. Nobody's saying, no, I got the, no. They'll get up and go to the bathroom and like pay the bill before they even get back. So here I am sitting at dinner with these guys. Some of them are worth Ty Lopez will be at dinner, $100 million. And I'm sitting with these guys. And while I'm sitting with them, they're fighting to pay for this meal that I can't even pay for if I wanted to. And they're talking about concepts across the table. Each one of these concepts could make me millions of dollars if I would just shut the f up and listen. This is what it's like at the top if you really want to succeed. I do a clips channel now because of Rollo. There's so many. I do live streams now because I learned from Myron and Fresh. Like I learn from people who are better than me. I don't concern myself if my ex cheated, whatever, this girl rejected me, whatever I'm only concerned with bench press max, more money in the bank account, lower body fat percentage.
Tangible results.
What are the 45 books I read this year? That is all I care about. And when you do that, you will notice a discernible improvement, and you're so focused on that. And while you're doing that, this crazy thing happens. This girl will hit you up in your DMs who fucking ghosted you before, and she goes, how you been?
It's been a long time.
I've always had a crush on you. No, you haven't.
Yeah.
I've always had a crush on you. Oh, I've always thought you were cute, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. Watch when it happens. And then the problem is you go right back to step one and you kind of like lose respect for women. I was like, oh, this is all I had to do? This is you. I thought I was, because I was a special snowflake. I thought I went to church and they told me God had someone waiting for me. And now I'm sitting there and all of a sudden I just ignored you. And now women are paying attention to me because I'm successful.
Imagine that.
Like that's all that happened. It's crazy, man.
Part of the Red Pill audience is always going to be the guys who want blood sports.
Yeah.
They're always going to be the guys who want to see like Myron kick these off the show, right? Finally, one got her. Those are the highest viewed shows. There always will be. It's bread and circuses, and those guys are there for one reason. They're there to see the car wreck. They want to live vicariously through Myron to kick these girls off because they would never be able to do that in their real lives. And they love that. Okay, I'm not saying that that's certainly a good business. Been a good business model for a long time.
Beat Brittany Renner's ass.
But see here, or the Brittany Renner thing, or whatever. There's always going to be that want for red meat, and I talk the sizzle and steak, right? You can't have the steak without the sizzle, right? So, but the problem is then it becomes nothing but sizzle all the time without any like real nutritional value, like is what I try to talk about. When you've got the guys who are like that, and then the other guys that you're talking about who really benefit from this, those are the guys who may have been ready to self-delete. They get this information and now they're not going to, because that's where the real work gets done. My wife wasn't having sex with me. Now she is. I was a divorcee. I didn't have my kids. Now I have my kids, and I'm back in the dating pool because at 45, and I'm not going to be a statistic, right? Wow. So that's where the real work happens. And I think that one of the biggest problems in the red pill and the manosphere space right now is there's that good side of it right there where it's like we're literally saving guys' lives. We're benefiting them. They're building something and they're creating something more. And then there's the guys who are like, oh, I can't wait to get her, get off the show. Ha ha. You guys are too weak. You guys don't you don't call these guys out. Bro. You need to kick them off the show. There's always going to be that. And so the problem is like the guys who really need the nutritional value, they really need the steak and not the sizzle. The problem is then they get dissuaded to well, I don't want to be part of that. It's all about Pearl and Andrew and it's all about this kind of. Where's the real substance to this? And you really have to want it. You have to go hunting for that. And it's, like I said, that's another reason why what our charter, I guess, for lack of a better term, an obligation to objective truth, because I'm more interested in the guys who can build themselves up with the actionable information that we have, as opposed to bread and circuses and blood sports. Although I will say that you've got to have some sizzle there. But there has to be nutritional value. There has to be, like I said, that if you're going to give a dog a pill, right, you got to have the cheese, and you got to put the pill in the cheese, right? So the pill is like the red pill, but it's got to be in the cheese. Otherwise, the dog doesn't want to eat its pills.
All my content, like all my advertisements, it's just me talking about high status networking. We don't even talk about dating, and then just me with tons of girls, and the girls are always facing me, touching me. I'm never touching the girls in all the videos we do, and so I sell them what they want and then teach them what they need. Right. Welcome to my course. You signed up. Let's get it. It's U.S. military training camp, buddy. That's the thing. Like that's what you have to do because a lot of them don't want to hear it. Now, here's the thing. Myron Gaines owns 16 houses. 16 houses. To me, that is the most interesting. That is incredible. I was asking him questions because I want to get into real estate. But when he does videos on real estate, they don't do as well as when he Frank Castle's girls off the The show. So he has an incentive to do this, and that's kind of the place that you get put in. It makes it very difficult.
Did you say that till he Frank Castles?
Frank Castle means he kicks girls
Kicks him off the show.
Frank Castle like Punisher.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, all right, because I haven't heard his name in a while. I'm like that a lot.
Yeah. So he'll kick him off the show, right? And so you're just incentivized. Now, here's the thing. Let's look at it the other way. Like, you guys ever watch Homath? You guys should watch Homath. He's terrific. Have you watched some Homath? Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's terrific. He's saying like I love the way he describes it. It's like there's different levels of thinking. There's one level of thinking is I'm good, you're bad, you, let's fight. And then there's another level of thinking as I'm good, you're bad. And then one of these things as well, I'm probably believe this way because this is where I'm from. So I'm a Protestant from Texas and you're from New York. And therefore I am a Rangers fan and you're a Yankees fan. Okay. So like that okay. So I kind of understand. And it would be kind of weird if you were from New York and you were a Rangers fan. So I kind of get that. Yeah. And then there's another level. It's like, well, I kind of understand where your aggression comes from and my aggression comes from. And then you finally get to a level like we're kind of all the same people. We're a function of evolution and our psychology. And like we really should kind of get along. And that's what you should do. So like again with women, it's like, okay, do women unconditionally love men? Well, that doesn't make sense. Women should unconditionally love my child. If I have a child with a woman and she's going to push one of us out of the way, so because there's a train coming, push me in the way of the train so that to save the child. Right. That makes sense to me. My genetics get passed on. So unconditional love should be reserved for the child. That makes sense. I don't understand why that's a problem. And so that's very difficult for people. For me, though, where's the unconditional love? When someone breaks into the house, I'm the one who gets the shotgun. I'm the one who goes there and risks my life. The unconditional love is coming from me towards the family, not from my wife. And so that's very offensive to people. They don't like this concept. They don't grasp it.
But if the child isn't there?
It's all conditional. Like the problem is when you say unconditional love, it's a fun thing to talk about. If my girlfriend cheats on me, guys, I'm going to break up with her. I just got bad news. And I've told her this. I'm like I love you. This is great, but that's a condition. Like just so we're clear, by the way, if any of you are have a girlfriend and your girlfriend attacked your mom, you'd probably break up with her. Like I'm sorry guys, there are conditions. If someone took your child away, you can sit there and make up all this, but there's always conditions. It is always conditional. The only unconditional thing I've ever seen is a mother loving her child. That makes sense to me. That part is unconditional. And it should be, because if it wasn't, then the species would have died off 60,000 years ago. Yeah. You have to have this irrational belief where women will do anything. I'll do anything to get my son into this preschool. My son is smart. They have this irrational thing to uplift their child. That makes sense, right? Yeah, so if I understand that these concepts exist in evolution, then the concept of a woman wanting to have the best mate she possibly can, a better mate, hypergamy, that's what it means, right? But like women doing better, then that means that her necessity to leave one man for another or maybe cheat or monkey branch or whatever, it is a function of her evolution, just like me wanting to have several sexual partners is a function of my evolution. So therefore I can't blame her for it. And so having that understanding makes me, like having that higher level understanding, we shouldn't hate women. It is a function of evolution. I am very glad that women have unconditional love for a child, but not necessarily have it for me. And when you think about it throughout history, men were the disposable race. If you go look at, or disposable gender, if you go look into the anthropological record, you find skeletons, and these skeletons of men are destroyed. They have axe wounds and broken ribs and crushed in skulls.
Arrows to the knee.
Yeah, arrows to the knee. When you see skeletons of females, they are pristine. When you find anthropological records of females, they were always pristine, because women were not the disposable sex. We were. So if you were to consider this, you lived in like the 15th century, then all of a sudden a Genghis Khan and his horde comes in, Kulia Khan, whatever, they come in and they murder all the men there, and then they take the women. You're a woman. You have two choices. I either sit there and mourn my husband who just died in front of me and I die, or I take a new husband. Yeah. So evolutionarily, which one of the two genders gets over breakups quicker? Yeah, Anybody think about it?
It's called women. It's a war brides dynamic.
But it's an evolutionary adaptation to get over that. Again, people are listening to me like I'm theorizing this. This is reality. Throughout history, tribes of men would kill other tribes of men and spare the women and take them. Please read the Old Testament. When the Israelites killed the Amalekites, the Jezebites and the Canaanites, and they took the virgin women for their own. That's just what they did. And so when you come to this concept, it's like, well, it sucks that she cheated on me and she already has like a new boyfriend or whatever, and you're like, well, no, she has an adaptation to do so. That's where it came from. Because if she didn't, then what happens is while a woman sits there and watches her husband who's dead, and she may mourn him, if she decides to not take a new husband, then she dies and her genetics don't get passed on, as noble as she was. But if she decides to take a new husband, as skanky as that sounds, her genetics get passed on. And so she's an evolutionary winner versus a loser. And then so that thing gets passed on. And so now what happens is, now these women are like, well, I don't want that to happen again. So I want to pick the man who's like less likely to die. So I'm going to pick the broadest shoulders, the tallest guy, the one with the strongest jawline, the one who has like, again, the reason why tattoos look way more attractive on
the
men
high value man,
exactly,
the high value alpha male,
the high value alpha male.
Somebody on the show recently said that doesn't exist.